I'm Matt Braunger. This might help.
I am not a doctor.
This might help.
I'm not a professional.
Let's have fun. This honestly is a good time.
Honestly, I got no idea what I'm doing. What's going on? Who are you?
I'm Matt Braunger. This might help. The podcast.
Hey, and welcome to This Might Help with Matt Braunger. I'm going to get right into it. I have an old friend on who was on the former incarnation of this podcast, and who he and I did one of the was recorded longest comedy tours of all time, a full 2 shows, New York and Boston. What else matters? Please welcome my friend and yours, America's Halloween nerd, Dana Gould. Dana Gould, everybody.
That's maybe the best, most appropriate intro I've ever had.
It's so weird introducing your friends, because you have to. There's always that person who just like you never know. It's just like I don't know who the fuck this Matt Braunger guy is, and Dana who? Okay, God, listen.
You got to
have
come up with something about him. My friend with one hand. This is him.
Here he is. It's the guy I was talking about.
Remember the guy I told you about whose brother drowned? It's him.
Right. Not the guy who found him. His actual brother.
No.
Okay.
That guy is still screaming. Our tour was
I
also another one of the proudest. What's the word I was searching for? Items in the Dana Gould Museum of Terrible Titles. Our tour.
Yeah, I'm in.
Along with "Let Me Put My Thoughts in You," the Rockiest
good one.
Files tour.
Yes, that was
How
our
can
tour.
we stink this before we even know who the comedians are?
Well, we were gonna, you and I were gonna go on this co-headlining tour, and then we were just texting each other back and forth what we should call it. And I remember you had like Tourgasm 6 or something, like there was the 6th one with Dana with Dane Cook and all his friends. And yeah, we finally you said Bukkake Smiles, and I was like, that's the one. That's it. That's it.
How wrong we were.
Come on. Hey, we sold good. It was great.
We went in there with the same. We were like, we know 2 things. This title is perfect, and Y2K is going to bring down our culture. These are the 2 things.
That's it. That's what we got. I remember when we played the Bell House in Brooklyn. It rained so hard that day that I went out and got a sandwich, and I came back to my hotel room, and I filmed like throwing my jacket into the shower, and it like stuck to the wall and it slid down.
And I just remember the show in Boston, and that my brother got quite literally falling down drunk. Like couldn't just go out and have a drink.
Nope.
Had to get prepped for surgery.
I've never heard that. That's a perfect expression for getting shellacked. Well, I remember because you and I were having a beer after, and you're like, it's funny, my brother always gets drunk and yells stuff, and this time he didn't. Like he tried, but he was like quiet. He's like, oh, he's just older and tired now. He can't. It's like he's still just as drunk, but he.
He comes every show, and every show it's a barfly outtake. It's okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Not drunk, not like having a good time, not getting a buzz on. Fall. What are we gonna do? Kidney, taking out his kidney. He's fine. He's fine. Just lay him out.
You don't need any kind of anesthesia. He's done it. He's done it to himself. Yeah. You mentioned worst titles. I also have some pretty bad ones, but good bad ones that we like.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about this today because I was driving on Melrose, and I drove past the Snake Pit.
La-di-da.
Yeah, fancy rundown part of town. That's still everything's painted pink. But the Snake Pit, and I remember there was a famous actor from my childhood that would just be in there during the day drinking, and I remember thinking about, because like now I'm what that guy's age probably was when I first moved to LA, because that's when he would be in there, and it's like just like the thought of just being in a bar during the day every day, like the pain of the hangover, can't imagine. So anyway, I was thinking there used to be this woman who would there were billboards of her productions. Like you'd be driving on Sunset and there'd be a billboard for a movie you've never heard of, and you wouldn't see any more billboards, just this one. And it was always starring her and someone else. And just obviously she has some kind of amount of money, and she gets these movies made, and they are only showing in 2 theaters in LA, and gets her friends to come every time.
Angeline.
And what's that?
It's not Angeline.
No, it's not Angeline. No, this is. I wish I gotta dig up who it was. I'll find out. But so anyway, long story long, they would come out like maybe twice a year,
Sure.
one a year. And once hiking, a friend and I were just pitching ideas for her movies, because it would be wildly. It'd be like, a night in Broadway, like a night in Broadway, like not on, and then another one would be like, like Romance in the Caribbean, and it would be her, a white actress, and like this handsome black man with dreadlocks hugging on a beach, just like,
Yeah.
oh, I know exactly what happens in any
like a Henry Jaglom kind of thing, like
yeah. So my friend Kevin just pitched Robot Graduation for the movie, just because we were her agents. We're like, we need a sci-fi vehicle for her, and mine was Lays Her. It was a woman who shot lasers out of her hands, and she was known as Lays Her. That was her superhero name. So
my favorite movie title was, remember those USA Network made for TV movies that were
love them.
Frank Conniff named the ultimate one, which was Kill Fuck. Just the ultimate.
It's everything.
It's everything.
It's every schlocky action movie.
It's like Chinatown. You don't know what it's about. It's a state of mind. It's a state of mind of one of the characters. Have you seen The Handmaiden?
No, like
it's made by the guy that made Old Boy.
Okay.
Whatever his name is. And
yeah.
It was set as a strong, pro-woman story of the 1800s. He's in Japan, occupied Korea, and these two women bind together, and it's basically a story of, it's kind of like The Sting, like there's a con within a con within a con.
Okay.
And these two women fall in love with each other, but and then they make love, and it's 10 minutes long. And it's just like, wait a minute. And then there's the movie's like 2.5 hours long, and then there's a really graphic torture scene.
Okay.
It's like out of an Al Adamson movie that's suddenly in there.
Sure.
And then at the end, these two women have these giant steel balls on chains that look like that you make tea in. Those,
sure.
But they're like a strain of them, and they're lovingly shoving them up each other. It's just like, but it's like when I said to Kat, like, what are we watching? What happened?
See,
when did Bruce Seven get a reel of this movie?
The turn I thought that was going to take is, and that's when I turned it off and told my 3 daughters to stop watching with my girlfriend and I. It's like if Pan's Labyrinth, it's like that kind of movie, and then suddenly, wait a minute, they've been having sex now for 10 minutes. And now they're putting Christmas decorations inside each other. Well, yeah. I mean, sure, of course.
Are they both? Did I miss something? Are they both studying to be midwives? Did I miss something?
Is this how it was back then? Like a kid who's learning about that period in history.
This is where you hide your Christmas decorations.
Oh, okay. So so the pie, the weights that weigh down the pie crust, you hide them in you in those days because they were the greatest currency of anything. So
And
you
it
had
is
to.
like, and it's, it's criticism proof. It's two
Mhm.
strong women, two self-actualized strong women characters. You can't.
Sure. I will say I do like being surprised. I do like that is probably a surprise. I'd be kind of like,
Yeah,
all right, okay, I get it. After
yeah.
it goes on way too long, but like I was watching a movie called The Lodge, a horror movie, and there
Oh,
was
sure. I like that. I saw like it.
yeah, that Alicia Silverstone
Yeah.
part where I was like, it's 7 minutes in the movie, and just spoiler, it doesn't have anything to do with plot, but she blew her own head off. Like, did I guess she's okay? Okay, she's the biggest star in this. That
It's
was
like
an amazing
Psycho. They're gonna kill the
Drew
lead.
Barrymore in Scream type twist. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee in Psycho. Yeah, it's just like this thing of she has a glass of wine. Oh, and a gun. Oh. Like I didn't know she had that gun just by her side that whole time. Like I was like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
If you
And now, like, I don't know anymore what's good. I don't know what's good.
Mhm.
I see movies like people like, and I read these reviews of movies that are just glowing reviews. I'm like, that was I don't think that was that good.
Yeah,
You know,
it's yeah.
a movie. I know this is not why we're here, but
No, it doesn't matter what we like. This is all
a
life.
movie I wanted to like.
Sure.
I went in there wanting to like this. Coming to America.
Or the second one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I love Eddie Murphy. I fucking love Eddie
Me
Murphy.
too.
And Dolomite Is My Name was
Adored
should
it.
have been the best picture. It should have been the best picture.
Yeah.
And he should have won Best Actor for The Nutty Professor. Like,
Interesting. Yeah. He was great.
He plays an entire family.
Yes.
And every character is specific and three-dimensional and fully realized.
Exactly.
And he is so gifted and so brilliant. And when I met him, he was rude to me, and I still don't care.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Still don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But I also met him in 1983.
Right.
Probably be different now.
Bit of a chip on his shoulder back then, I'm sure.
But then the Delirious, it was literally the Delirious tour, and he was in Hyannis, and I literally bumped into him walking down Main Street, Hyannis. I just said, "Hey, going to your show tonight?" And he just looked at me like I was something on his shoe.
Wow.
Maybe I'm not.
That's hilarious.
But coming to I just kept waiting for it to start.
Yeah, I really dug it, but I thought it used the flashbacks really well, and there were the moments that like jumped out that I thought were so great, but like as a great cohesive movie, no.
And I think it's also maybe my sense of humor now is too specific. I do have a talk show hosted by an orangutan. Like my sense of humor is now in pointillism.
Right.
But
yeah.
But like I just like even the bits like that crazy old aunt character in the castle and the thing is like, why did this take 3 times longer than it should have?
Sure.
These are 10-second shots, and you're on it for 21 seconds. It's like, but it's just like because most people aren't bored well, because most people haven't been in comedy rooms for 40 years.
Oh yes,
yeah,
exactly. Well, it's like Matt Damon can't really watch an action movie.
Yeah.
He's just like, okay, I see how they set that up. I see they switched it out. Okay, that's a stunt man. That's not him. Like you see.
Yeah, exactly. It's like musicians that can only listen to King Crimson.
Right.
And
Sun Ra.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
it's just everything. They're so. Yeah, they're so jaded on it, but
they just done it. Like they can see them. Like, I know how to do that. Yeah, I know how to do that. Yeah, I know how to do that. Yeah, I know how to do that.
Yeah. Have you seen? Let's do this. Have you seen something that you've loved lately? You say one, I'll say one.
Yes. Okay. It's not a movie, but it's a show.
Okay.
You go first.
Okay. Sputnik. It's a Russian sci-fi horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's I think because it's all in Russian and it's all subtitles, people weren't.
Yeah.
But I watched it. I was like, this is like the scope and the budget and the direction and the action and the themes, the writing. I was just like, who did this? Young, like Steven Spielberg, if he was much angrier. Like it doesn't have it's hard edged. It's all set in the 80s and in the Soviet Union.
Oh, great.
And this astronaut has come back, and there's something that they brought in a psychologist because there's something wrong with him, and you find out what's wrong with him. Is I won't give it away, but
oh, great. I might watch it tonight. It sounds great.
And it's a monster movie.
Uh,
So there you go. Yeah,
monster movie or creature movie? There's
because
we saw a great show called Fallet, Fallet.
okay,
And it is a Norwegian British 1 hour cop show. And it's kind of like Stand Against Evil in the way that the cop show is completely serious. The crime is real, people are real, but the cops are fucking idiots. And it's fantastic. And it's an hour long. Each episode is an hour long. There's like 10 of them. And it goes through, and it's just like somebody else did it. It's just like this, it's the tone of any Scandinoir cop show.
Wow.
But the cops are fucking morons.
Oh, that's awesome. Where is it?
It's on Netflix.
Okay,
it's
great.
so good. Just watch, watch a half an hour of the first episode. You'll totally get it.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. Fallet
Great.
or TT.
Okay. Putting it in there.
And I think,
Okay, so
Fallet is Norwegian for the case.
oh, okay, right on.
Hang on, my Swedish girlfriend knows.
It's Swedish.
Swedish, not Norwegian. They're
Got
not the same.
Don't go. So from Finland,
Yeah, it's not like Chinese, Japanese. It's really the same thing, but we just say it's different.
got it. Swedish. So Iceland.
Mm-hmm.
Dana. So you are one of those people who I've
Easy. What do you mean? What?
seen. You know those people. You people.
I love money.
Yeah, like all the Irish. No, I have all my stereotypes messed up. Ugh, another drunk Jew. Wait, you're not. You got.
I've got a great rhythm. I'm Scottish.
And amazing teeth. So you have seemed to you seem to have coped well during the quarantine for the same reasons that I think I probably have. I got a great gal.
Yeah.
I got a great kid.
You're very lucky.
Same thing. Yes, we're both very lucky.
Very lucky, and we learned the lesson
Mm-hmm.
that I was actually talking about this morning with Ms. Newman. That whether you're in show business or professional sports or you're a doctor or a cop, what matters at the end of the day is when you go home and close the door, what's your life then?
Yeah.
That's what matters, and that will provide, the better that is, the more ballast you will have for everything else.
Yeah, and your definition of better improves with age. So the sooner you learn that, the better off you are. It took me a while to learn that, and for a while I kind of would wrestle with that and go, why didn't I get this earlier? But if I got it earlier, I might have ended up with the wrong person. I might not have had. I wouldn't have this same kid.
Yeah,
So it's like
everything. Yeah, I agree. I have the same realization.
I during the pandemic, the butterfly effect as a theory, not the fantastic Ashton Kutcher movie, fantastic. No, but the
as opposed to the Ashton Kutcher movies that aren't fantastic.
Good point. But no, like the theory, the butterfly effect theory has given me any small would throw everything off. It just gives me so much comfort.
Yep.
To have that.
It's very important, and we know people that just it's all on the stage.
Yeah.
And it's like this has been a hard year.
Yeah. I've done a couple like distance outdoor shows. Other than that, I've just done Zoom shows, and the last two, I did two outdoor shows recently. I haven't done any before that for months and months and months. And boy, I was rusty.
Oh God, I'm terrified of how
But but the fact just talking about being rusty
Mhm.
creates a bond where people are like, good, good, good. You're working through this.
I've done some Zoom shows, but yeah, I dread the day I find myself standing on a stage with a microphone in my hand again. Because even I can't even go back to my old act because it's irrelevant.
Right. Yeah.
No,
I did a long
it's all
set.
before times comedy.
I did some before times because it still there's kind of relates to my family, and I have this bit about meeting the most horrible person, and kind of having a bad example in my life to not be,
Yeah,
like the opposite of
the brown-haired Gwyneth Paltrow in your personal sliding doors.
That's right. That's right. If she was in her 50s and worshipped alcohol above all else, and her name was Doug, but yeah, and I'm like telling that story, and it's got this great ending that lands, and so well, and halfway through the story, I forget where I'm going, and then I remembered it, and it was just like, oh, it was like catching the trapeze bar right before,
Yeah.
and there's no net. I was like, what am I just going to trail off with this story with all this buildup? I don't remember how this ends. And then I remembered it was like, oh, like it was like hair, like morphine into my veins. Like, thank fucking God.
I had that happen on Letterman.
I had that happen on Conan.
Oh God, it is like, oh, this is how I die. I'm here. I'm here.
Yes, that where your brain just farts and you
Oh,
don't.
oh,
Just the worst.
yeah.
I was talking with Christian Duguay earlier today. I did. We were talking before about you. You did a podcast before this one. Did the great Lorraine Newman's podcast. I'm doing a voice on Christian's Valley Heat
Right. Oh,
podcast,
yeah.
and so, but we got on this tangent because my character gets bit by stung by this poisonous fish and is trying to play it off as he's passing out, and so I called him back and was talking about have you heard that, listened to that guy or watched the videos of that guy who purposely gets stung by the most painful insects and snakes and things and records it. Yeah.
No.
I was doing a show in Hawaii, and Lance Bangs was there with his family, and he texts me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go hiking with us?" And I'm like, "Sure." They come pick me up, and we're going to go to this mountain, and we're listening to NPR, and the guy's on, and this person's like, "Why do you do this to yourself?" He's like, I think it should be recorded. No one's asking him to. No doctor or scientist is like, "Please hurt yourself." Like we know the animals that hurt. We know them all.
Yeah.
We have all of them. And so we listened to a recording of him with a bullet ant, which is the bullet ant. It's supposedly the most painful bite of any insect on Earth. And so it's just him. And we're in the car, like trying to keep it together.
The bullet as an adjective implies, like even like a bullet muffin would be so delicious.
Right. It just gets you. Yeah. It does what it's supposed to do.
It's done. It's the most muffin ever.
And just the sound of him when it bit him, like trying to be clinical, but just like, oh, it is true. Oh, this is truly horrible. And we're just crying, laughing in the car.
It was on I think it was Jackass where they tased like Johnny Knoxville, like tase me. Like, oh God, oh God.
It's not fun.
No, don't do that.
Oh, he just turned 50. The episode where he gets he fights Butterbean, the heavyweight champion. Well, not champion, but was a championship boxer who was very fat. He fought him in a sports goods store, and they didn't tell the store. And then the Butterbean just knocks him completely unconscious. And when they smelling salts, and they wake Johnny Knoxville up, and he goes, "Is Butterbean okay?" First thing he says, it's like he's our hilarious Evil Knievel.
He
Johnny
lives right
Knoxville.
down the street. He lives right down.
Does he?
Yeah, he's the nicest guy in the world.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I met him a couple times. He's so cool, man.
Yeah, our kids
So
used
nice.
to. Our kids used to like when they were really tiny would play date together.
Okay, so on that note, do you want to listen to the first call? And,
Yeah, let's do it.
First, let me ask you, like I ask everybody on the show, how many people have you slept with? No. What I ask him is, do you get asked for advice?
Sure.
Generally.
Sure. Yes. I'm a parent.
Yep. Okay. Because that's a good point. Because I've asked you for advice.
Yeah, and professional advice as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've had enough. I think I've survived enough high-profile disasters that people feel that I'm a good person to go to for advice.
Who I was really laughing at. God, who did I have on? I'm blanking, but they were saying like a lot of times they get asked advice, but it's typically like they're like, what they're really trying to ask is like, am I good enough to make it? Can I make it? But I was like, it'd be so funny and so kind of refreshing if someone just said it that way, rather than the kind of like, ooh, how'd you get that? Which means, of course, why didn't I get that? Kind of thing. Yeah. But if someone's like, hey, do you think I have the stuff? Dana, I'm not kidding.
It's funny because it's a weird answer because like, are you good? I'm not talking about you, but like normally you would say it's like, are you good? No. Are you good enough to make it? Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Not the grand scheme.
Have you seen the people out there? No, you're fine.
There's already a Martin Short who's good at everything.
Yeah. You're fine. I've seen specials that you can make it.
Great.
But are you good?
No. You'll be okay. In my eyes, not at all.
In my eyes, God no.
Garbage. Hot, wet garbage.
Hot, wet garbage. To me, I'm not your audience.
Hey, and who am I?
Yeah,
exactly. That would almost hurt worse than being like, give it up.
It's so true.
Okay. So, Renee, let's roll the first call and see how wacko it is.
It's so true.
Hey, Matt. So I'm going to preface this by saying I'll try not to ramble and I'll try not to repeat myself, but it's probably going to happen a little bit. But here it goes.
Okay.
So I've been with my girlfriend for about 7 months. I'm a truck driver. She works in the media, usually on a computer in a room by herself, because unfortunately she can't work from home because her company is not going to give her a computer to do so. So she has to be in the office. But she has a room by herself, and she's separate most of the time. And because of that, she has a tendency to want to be on the phone with me a lot because she can't focus on any podcasts or audiobooks very well. And so she likes to be on the phone with me. And I like being on the phone I like talking to her throughout the day, but the amount of time that she wants to be on the phone with me is just a lot. Because she'll call me when she wakes up to get ready to go to work and all that. And then she'll call me and she'll be on the phone with me until I either get to a delivery or I get to a point where I'm just like, I've had enough for that time, and it's just kind of like she's worn me out. And don't get me wrong, I love her. I'm looking like we plan on moving in together in May. That's not an issue. It's like I do love her and I do want to go forward with this. It's just she wants to stay on the phone for like hours and hours, even though we don't really have anything to talk about. We're just we're like idle chit chat about whatever we're doing. Or if something we remember from earlier in the day pops up, then we'll talk about that. But it's mostly just like I'm sitting behind the wheel of my truck, driving down the road, and she'll just be tapping away on her work, theater and whatnot. Or she'll set me down or put me on mute while she needs to talk to somebody, or it's just a lot.
Oh no.
Like,
no.
Like I said, I don't mind talking to her for a little while, but at the same time, the amount of time she wants to talk.
You are pretty good at staying on the phone a long time. I'm going to say.
Without her getting upset about
Does he
phone with her
think we're
nearly
her?
as much.
Fair. He did
So,
give us kind of a
like,
warning.
any advice
so.
you have, like what to say on that? Go ahead and give me that, I guess. I might try to say something in the next few days, or even tonight, maybe. I don't know. But either way,
Yes.
yeah, I look forward to hearing what you got to say on this. Have a good one, man. Bye.
So what-
Yeah. I mean, you can go. You go first.
No, you go.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'll take
I
first on
was
this
thinking
one.
up a joke.
Okay. Well, I
Let me guess what you're not hauling. Conclusions.
Ding. That's the sound of a home run off an aluminum bat. I've definitely been there in relationships
Yeah, I
where,
feel for this guy. I feel for
where
this guy.
times where I'm just like, all right, you're just kind of keeping me on the foot. And I've done that to my wife
Of course.
where I'm like, I'm on the road. Hey, where are you going? What are you going to do? Are you going to hang out with somebody, with a friend? Who is it? Can you call me when you guys are together? I want to hang out with you guys. It's just loneliness. I think it's just the fact that, I mean, Dana, I think you're like me. You are completely and totally comfortable being alone.
Yeah,
Like,
and phone conversation, and you do this on the road is a great example. At the end of the day, you go back to your room, you do that, just before you go to bed, you call your significant other, your
Right.
wife. And that, it's like you catch up and you just like, how, the kids there, or how are you, what was work, and then 5 minutes, and it's like, okay, great, well, it's good to touch base with you, unless you're gone for years.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow, because it's different on the phone. And
Yep.
what I would say that what she is asking of him is depleting the coin of the realm of their
Yeah.
and if I were him, I would say, like, I am watching porn on my phone right now. I can't
Right.
talk. No, but he does need to go, like, it's not that I don't want to talk to you. It's I'm driving, and it's draining. It's draining. Let's find another way. But my advice to him, and then I'll shut up, is don't approach it as I don't want to be on the phone for 4 hours a day.
Right.
But, like, it's not good for me. What can we do to help you out at work? And move it into a proactive thing.
Yeah.
And not just about not doing that.
And I think she's got to take some steps. She's got to do stuff to, like, self-soothe, whatever it is. Because the fact that he said she will put him on hold and then talk to someone else. Hell no.
Yeah. That's not good.
Are you out of your mind? Like, she's taking advantage of him. I call her. I'm sorry. She definitely is. I don't think she necessarily means to, but it's up to you to put a stop to it and go, don't take this personally.
Yeah,
This is not
a bored. I am too.
Right. And you don't like podcasts. I do.
Yeah.
I like listening to music by myself. I like listening to whatever.
You can lie and say that his trucking company monitors his phone time, and he's not supposed to be on the phone while driving. That's a good
Yeah, that is a good lie. But in the end,
alcoholics comes right in with the lie. Here's how to lie to get out of it. Where the truth could work, here's a lie.
Sure. It'll make me feel better temporarily and worse later.
You ever find yourself in a situation where you're scrambling for an excuse and you realize, oh, the truth will actually work here. All right, let me get it.
It's not in my nature, but let's give it a shot. Yeah. No, dude, you got to nip that in the bud. You have to talk to her about it and just
in the bud.
Let her, be a little butthurt for a while, and that's it. You got to save your own sanity. Someone just keeping you on the phone.
You're driving.
Yes, and that's what I mean, though. She's taking advantage of him. She knows he's where he is. She knows he's driving. She knows he can't get away. It's like I had that's who I was talking to about, like, the will I make it. Is I had David Keckner on, and that reminds me, because we were talking about I much preferred being a waiter than a bartender, because when you're a waiter, you can walk away. You can always walk away. And with a truck driver boyfriend, You know where he is. Why aren't you picking up? Who are you talking to? You're driving your truck. I know you are. I'm bored. I'm bored.
Maybe the two of you could find a podcast that you both like.
Right.
You can either listen to it simultaneously or listen to it separately, and then get on the phone and talk about it. Like, have a 10-minute window. Here, we're going to talk about 10 minutes.
Great idea. That's a great idea. Okay, caller. So try that for starters, but also, got to set some boundaries. Okay.
Thanks for keeping those big wheels rolling.
Yeah.
The white line is the lifeline of the nation.
Appreciate that. Caller number 2.
My boyfriend is a
Hello,
truck
Matt,
driver.
and possibly Dana. This is Sally from Massachusetts. And
Hey.
I have a bit of an issue. It's very much a me issue and not other people
Love
are
Sally.
causing an issue. So I'm a musician, and I create stuff, and I do music, that is, and I do various sketches and stuff. But when I see someone's content who I admire, a voice in my brain immediately goes, well, we can't watch that, out of like sheer, I guess you'd say the word is envy. Like, I'm envious that this person is able to like get out of their head and create stuff. And it's not like this irrational hatred of this person. It's just sort of my brain immediately makes a comparison and goes, why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you working and stuff? And it's just, I'm just wondering if like you as a comic have experienced this in a similar capacity. And if so, I was wondering if you had any advice. I hope you are doing well. Hope you and your loved ones are doing okay in these weird times. Take care and please stay safe. Bye.
I'll let you take this one, but first I will say Sally is someone, a lovely trans musician who has called in many times to the old incarnation, I think once or twice to this one, and also went to see me in Vermont. With their girlfriend
from Massachusetts, and I was like, hang up.
My home state. No.
Well, go. You can lead off.
So no. You lead off. I let off the first one. I just wanted to tell you who Sally was, because I know that was just like.
Well, Sally, I feel you. What you are experiencing is universal among creative types. If that didn't bother you, you wouldn't be much of a creative type. Everybody feels a level of competitiveness with other people that are doing things similar to them. And there's two things. One, what you're feeling is fine. It's okay to feel that way. It's normal. If you think that you would benefit from seeing that stuff, look at it this way. Everything that you take in feeds your own artistic nuclear rod and nourishes your artistic batteries. So I once saw Vincent Price speak at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. Came to my little acting class.
Wow.
And someone asked him a question, not me. Somebody asked him, you're a Shakespearean actor and yet you do talk shows and stuff, some snotty theater student who I just wanted to,
of course,
after, trying to belittle him for being on Hollywood Squares. And Vincent Price said, everything I do informs everything I do. So I do everything.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, Vincent Price was not a snob.
No.
I love that.
And that's a good way to view it. And also, if you read, last thing I'll say is if you read a lot of, like, I love to read biographies of artists and like a great book I'm reading right now called the Big Goodbye, about the making of Chinatown.
Oh yeah.
And you realize that every single person you admire goes through that and is the same way.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's I as much as I'm like, I have a great life. I know what matters, what counts, what we just talked about. Yeah. I definitely get the twinge of jealousy. I definitely get the feeling of oh shit. When I see, you know, it's a friend of mine just got cast in blah blah blah, or they just someone just sold this or that. That doesn't go away, but that's it. It's better that it's your friend.
Yeah.
Better that someone that knows you, that you have a good relationship with. That's not. There's one here, but there's not a lot of milk in it. Sorry. That's let's leave that out of context.
Yeah.
That's
Big
fine.
cow coming in.
uh, yeah, it's better that you kind of
Yeah. Be
like
glad
know
it's
this
not a death.
person. Yeah, and just but the bottom line, as you perfectly put it, is it's okay because it's everyone.
Yeah.
That's fine to feel that way. Absolutely. It's you can make it easier. You can go through therapy and get a better perspective on life, which I feel like if you're doing it right as your life goes on, you do.
There's a great story about. I mean, this is the meta example of like Brian Wilson hearing Rubber Soul and getting so competitive about Rubber Soul, he made Pet Sounds, and then Paul
Right.
McCartney heard Pet Sounds and got so competitive they made Sgt. Pepper. So it's like it's like, oh god damn it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, it's like I love the fact that we'll be like, I'll see you do a joke and be like, oh fuck you, but it's like I mean, but I'm like, oh, this is great, it's like I'm enjoying the joke. It's just like, oh, I'm so mad, like I was just talking about Christian before, and I don't know if you listen to his podcast Valley Heat, but it's all from the perspective of a guy who lives in the equestrian district of Burbank, and he's talking about his neighbors. Oh, and it's all, you got to listen to it. It's the best scripted podcast. It's all comedians doing these voices of neighbors that are like mad at him, and he interviews them, and they're like, like what do you? And but they all, there's like running thing of people like Matt Dwyer does the voice of like I think his wife's therapist, but he's not actually a licensed therapist. He wrote a self-help book that is self-published on Amazon, and he's also an author. And like, it's so that Christian's character will not let it go. It's like, but you're not really an author. Like, yes, I am. It's a book you can buy. He's like, yeah, but there's no publisher. So, but there are all these fake ads for local businesses that are sponsoring the show, like a used foosball table store. It's all Burbank-ish stuff. And the theme music he does for them, that there's a Frisbee golf theme song he wrote that sounds like an 80s movie anthem. And it's just so sincere. And I remember I was listening to it, and I was laughing so hard in my car that I thought I might crash.
So great.
Because the memory of those wickedly stupid songs.
Sure, yeah.
And so I texted him, was like, I'm so furious at you for how funny your goddamn songs are. And he took it exactly right. He's like, thanks, man.
Yeah.
It does. Other people's creativity makes you angry because it's good, but it's I prefer that kind of anger than someone rear-ended me in a car any day.
Oh yeah, totally. When you see somebody, when you hear a joke, you see something like, oh, they did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's
it just motivates you.
Yeah, exactly. And the best thing is also they don't do what I do, and I don't do what they do. So great.
That's I don't get jealous of people unless they're doing exactly what I do.
Yeah, I mean, who if Brian Regan was far less successful and cursed a little more, maybe we'd be neck and neck. I mean, that's the only person off the top of my head I can think of that is that cat.
Yeah, exactly.
I've gotten so many elements of style, maybe like Dave Attell, but just like to me, it's like I worship Dave Attell. I'm not jealous of Dave Attell. I think he's just, he just writes brilliant stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, it's so funny you said it, because Sam Morrell told me a really hilarious Dave Attell joke that he told the other day, and I'm trying to remember what it was. It was so. Oh, it's Dave. There's a new joke that Dave said he told the other day that Sam heard. People I was talking about drinking alone. It's so depressing. Oh God, drinking alone. It's so depressing. How about barbecuing alone?
It's so true. It's so true. The food of gatherings.
That is just so gorgeous.
Just yesterday, I quoted his. You know, when you're a kid, you think your dad is Superman, then you grow up, he's just realize he's just drunk in a cape.
That kind of cape. I often think of my favorite joke, which I don't know the author of, and I just love this joke so much. And
Okay.
it was somebody from Boston, I think. And again, if anybody knows whose joke this is, let me know. But it's just such a perfect, beautiful joke, which is the first two people that thought Superman was a bird or a plane. What's all the excitement about? It's just like, man.
Well, and like the third guy, no, it's Superman.
It's an alien.
Where are you looking? Doesn't look like either of those things. It's obviously a man.
It's a bird.
What bird? No.
Okay.
What bird or plane has a fucking cape? What are you guys talking about? Are you guys nearsighted? The the incredibly confused the original take. No, it's obviously Superman. Cut.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
You're not supposed to be incredulous. Was it that famous
Yeah, it's a
Hollywood?
bird. No, you're right. It's a bird. You're right. God, no.
You idiot. What was that story? That old Hollywood story that the guy in the old Roman times, and he's like, or you know, some old movie, and his one line was "Hark, the cannons roar." You know that story? But like
No.
he's standing, it was like, you know, like with some like Ben-Hur type production, like a ton of money. Where I mean, it's kind of like, I think about that. There's a scene in Saving Private Ryan where one of the actors ran the wrong way or something, and they had to and all these bombs went off, and like he was fine, but like Spielberg was like, "You just blew 100,000. Can you run the right way this time?" You know, like 100,000 gone. So there's a similar thing with this guy. He had one line.
Ben Stiller did that on Empire of the Sun.
Empire of the Sun. What was he?
He was one of the.
Ben Stiller was.
Yeah, he was in Empire of the Sun. He was as a kid basically, and as a young soldier, and he like ran the wrong way and like stopped in the middle of the take and went, I screwed up. And
oh, God,
it's like Steve goes, Ben, don't ever do that again.
Jesus Christ. Well, yeah, supposedly this guy was like all these cannons.
I'm recalling that Ben told me that story, and I apologize if I'm remembering it wrong, but
okay.
What happened?
Well, this guy, he's like in the Roman robes or something, and it's, you know, the cannons go off, and he's supposed to go, "Hark, the cannons roar." They're like, "You got it. You got the one line." He's like, "Yep, one line." And the cannons are like, "Action!" It rolls down, and like I guess they had done other setups, and the guy got distracted. The cannons go off, and he goes, "Fuck! What was that?" You're fired. There's the best. You'll never work in this town again moment. What was that, asshole? Like you're a living, breathing joke the rest of your life.
Yeah, you're the Bill Buckner of.
Yeah, you'll never. You're the extra in 10 Commandments with a Rolex on. You're not, you know, or a watch, whatever, like, or Timex, I should say. Running down the hill. But okay, we got one more call, and then I got a speed round for you of people who just sent me little one-liners to ask you. So we'll do this one. We'll answer this one, and then we'll do that. You still good?
Yeah.
Everything?
Oh, I have
okay.
to beat them.
Roll. Come on. I don't know. All right, roll call number 3.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Dana. This is Max from New Jersey. I'm a TV editor. I worked on a couple shows in New York. I'd like to direct or at least edit for a living. It makes me happy. Last year, I had a 10-year relationship that ended. I had to move home with my parents, where I'm lost and depressed. So I got a day job at Barnes & Noble while I look for real work. Some good people there. It gets me out of the house, keeps me busy, and brings me a small amount of joy. But I'm still making short films, freelancing here and there. But I'm kind of shaky and depressed and anxious, and I don't want to bring that into the pressure cooker of deadline TV yet, so I've sort of been avoiding looking for work. And my question was, how long is it okay to stay here and lick my wounds and heal? And at what point am I making excuses and hiding from having to try again? I hope that was short, and I hope it was detailed enough. I'll see you in hell.
Perfect. Nice dismount.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'll let you take this one. I don't know if there is an answer to how long to lick your wounds. Not too long. I don't know.
Yeah, I think my personal opinion is that, people with ADHD, attention deficit disorder, they take a stimulant to level out their anxiety, their short attention.
Yeah.
I think that the pressure cooker of editing will eliminate a lot of these issues. I think that getting back to work is exactly what you need. Now, a 10-year relationship is a long time. I ended an 18-year relationship that had kids involved, and you're a train wreck for a good year, but you still gotta, and I have to say, in that year, I wrote a big piece of crap. No one's ever reading this, but after a while, you've got to, as my dad would say, grab a glove and get in the game. And if you're asking yourself that question, it sounds like you're getting close to self-awareness.
Yeah.
And it's great that you're still making short films and stuff. Just always make things. If you want to make something, make something.
Yes.
Things lead to things.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know how long it's been since your relationship broke up, but, if you've been licking your wounds for over 6 months, it's time to start thinking about slow walking. So you don't have to go swimming, but you can go up to your waist.
Yeah, exactly.
Go whoring, man. Just go out and do some real whoring. Become a whore master.
That's how you do it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, when I was listening to him, then my feeling was he would be like better served to just try, because it just sounds like it's kind of what you need. You need that injection of the times where I'm like, I really don't want to write, but then I make myself write. I'm just like, I feel so much better because I stimulated that part of my brain and heart. So it's what we do heals people and us.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So, yeah, that would be my answer to that. And it's like, I'm glad. The thing is,
I'm not worried about this caller.
No.
He sounds like he's very self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not Mike, was that his name? Matt? Mike?
Oh, damn it. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm like blanking.
But I'm not worried about you.
No, you're gonna be fine. Yeah, and I like the fact that you didn't go, oh, I'm just, Barnes and Noble, it sucks. It's like, it's very hard to get a job at a bookstore, like especially right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because everybody wants that job. I mean, there are people that are,
and I don't think anybody's gonna, it's hard to not be depressed when you're living with your parents.
Yeah.
So
you feel
get out of that situation.
You feel like a loser, but 'tis the season, man.
Absolutely.
The amount of people that had to move back to their parents' house this year is insane. I feel very fortunate that I did not have to. So, okay. So you ready for a couple little quick ones?
Sure.
Okay. So I wrote, if you have anything I'd like me to ask Dana Gould. One person wrote no, thank you. That was very awesome of you. Really appreciate that. I looked him up. Young snotty kid in the band. I get it. He looks in his teens.
What does he have to ask?
That's what happened. Let's see. What was the moment that you knew you were a comedian? That's a good one.
God, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one stood out.
After I had started doing open mics, I went to the University of Massachusetts as a freshman. And on my first or second day there, I went into the student union and went into the offices of the Blue Wall, which was the campus bar. And I said, I'm a comedian. I work in Boston at the Ding Ho, and I'd like to do a show at the Blue Wall. And they said, "You want to do Tuesday nights?" And I said, "Yeah." And then I walked out, and I didn't think I was a comedian, but I lied and became a comedian. Like, all right, I'm a comedian. I just got a show going.
It's really it. I remember being when MySpace had that you could change your profile to a comedian page, and like part of me got miffed because someone I knew had done maybe 2 open mics changed theirs to a comedian. But then that was the last time I think I ever got annoyed that someone called themselves a comedian.
Yeah.
You know, and everyone, it's like, who am I? I'm not.
Sure.
Go nuts.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a brain surgeon, and someone's like, yeah, did a tattoo on a guy's skull when he was asleep when at a party, and I'm a brain surgeon.
You know, the Jerry Seinfeld thing he really nailed it. He goes like, in the 70s, you'd be in line at the airport and people go, "What do you do?" And you go, "You're a comedian." And they go, "Oh, that sounds really interesting." And then in the 80s, they go, "What do you do?" And you say, "I'm a comedian." And they go, "Oh yeah, my brother-in-law is a comedian." And then in the 90s, you go, "What do you do?" "I'm a comedian." They go, "Yeah, I'm a comedian."
Yeah.
Became so unspecial.
Mm-hmm. I loved Michael Keaton's story about, you know, when he was like on a Hollywood, when his career had started kind of taking off, and he's like on a set or something, and he's working with some actor, and or maybe they were in an audition room or something, and guy's like, "Didn't you do stand up?" And he's like, "Yep, I did." And he goes, and this actor, like established actor, is like, "You know, I never tried that." He's like, "Oh, tried? Yeah, it's something you would have just fucking nailed, right?" You know, like he got so offended at the guy. He got so mad at him. And it's just like, I would have too. Like, you didn't, you haven't done as
yeah, it's like lasagna. I've never tried that. Yeah, it's that easy. Just order it.
Like Galifianakis's beef with Seth Rogen. He's like, he hasn't done 10,000 hours of open mics. I have.
I don't know what that beef was. What was?
Oh, it was kind of, you know, he was kind of kidding, but just kind of like being like, wait, why is this guy so successful? I've never seen him at open mic, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, but it'd be true, and you would genuinely be angry if a guy who had just sailed along on his looks and, you know, his agent booking him roles.
When somebody who's famous then decides to go on stage and tell some stories, and suddenly they're a comedian.
Right. Yeah.
Jeremy Piven. I'll pull a name out of thin air.
Just randomly. Who knows if he's doing that or not at all?
I don't know.
No, he is doing stand-up every chance he gets, and I'm still like, ooh.
Yeah.
He was at the Laugh Factory and did an act, and you know, he had one joke that I was like, oh, I like that. It was like a toss-off.
Yeah.
And I went to, you know, he came back to the little area where the comedians are, and I was like, hey man, I'm mad, I'm a comedian. I really like that joke, the way you put that, and he kind of sat back and looked at me like he was just holding court, and I was just like, like I'm trying to be nice to you, when almost everybody I know just hates the fact that you're going up. I don't have any problem with anyone doing stand up. I can get it if you're having trouble booking slots and you see him everywhere, but it's like, it's a business. He's going to draw crowds. I get it. He's not an unfunny person, but just the fact that he kind of stood back, arms crossed, and was smiling like, here comes the love.
You always know when somebody doesn't know him.
I don't know if you're just built like that, man, but God bless you.
You always know someone doesn't know him when they tell a story where they go up to him and start talking.
And there it is. Okay. So we have time for one more. I like this one. What would Dr. Zaius' reaction be to any of these questions or this show, or, you know?
Well, Dr. Z would, you know, you'd have to put the question about being competitive. Like, boy, I know, but I can, Screamin' Jay Hawkins, who lived in my pool house for a good 2 after the divorce, Screamin' Jay and I would hang out, and he would. Other story, I would take him down to the taco truck in a coffin, and he would come out. But that's a whole other story. But we're sitting around the pool, and we're just tossing ideas back and forth, and we come up with a movie for ourselves, and we start writing it, and we're really cooking. And Bobby Town lived down the corner, and he would come over and he'd listen to some ideas, and then Jay would kick him out, and we really get cooking. And then one day we opened the newspaper, and the full page ad, Peter Lawford, Sammy Davis Jr., Salt and Pepper. Basically the movie Jay and I had been writing. And I looked at Jay and I said, I've had such great luck with ideas. And then you come in, you put a spell on me. And then he said, can I have that? And I said, sure. What will come of it? Well, there's egg on my face still.
Nice. Thank you, Dr. Z.
Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to plug?
My comedy alter ego requires $3,000 every time I do it, and 4 hours in a maker. Paul Rubens just has to put on a fucking suit.
But how much rouge? How much cheek rouge? Come on, that adds up.
And I hope he does it until he's
God bless him. Yes.
Is
there anything you want to plug?
More. I would like to, if you're unfamiliar with Dr. Z, check out Hanging with Dr. Z on YouTube, and it's Hanging with Dr. Z.
It's very funny. It's very funny, and it's very comforting in these times. To a simpler time of talk shows where people were always at least mildly intoxicated on something, whether it was plain old booze or Benzedrine, whatever it was.
It's very interesting about the show, and I'll just say this: it's two things that I don't do in my comedy palette that really became obvious right out of the gate, which is it's purely positive.
Mm-hmm.
We tried, because we said it's kind of like Between Two Ferns, it's a talk show, but the shitting on each other and the dissing, it rang so false.
Yeah.
Because it's just not that era. It's an era of it's 60s, 70s Hollywood. Everybody's happy, and he, Dr. Z, is Sammy. He just loves everybody. He loves everybody,
mm-hmm.
and it's all positive. It's loving, positive. There's no shittiness.
Yeah.
And it's purely silly. There's no Trumpy. There's no Trump. There's no politics. There's no. It's completely ridiculous and positive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's very escapist, and I did dig the fact that it kind of calls to mind that Dr. Zaius did dress like that. He did dress, like a 70s hep cat in his own way, like the guy who had a little Coke spoon inside his pocket all the time.
100%. Yeah. And he would call Dan Tannett. Did I leave? Yeah, it's here. I'll be right down.
Thanks, Gus. Yeah.
Hang on. Is Dabney Coleman there? Yeah, give it to him. He'll bring it by.
He'll bring it by, and tell him to get us some booger sugar on the way.
Get some booger sugar on the way. If he could pick up Cheryl Teagues and come over.
Tell him to do it this time. He'll know what I mean.
He'll know what I mean.
He'll get a kick. Yeah.
I just love that. I love that. And the ultimate example would be Peter Lawford, actually.
Yes.
Guys that were just ubiquitous.
Mm-hmm.
They knew everybody. They were everywhere. They were just kind of, and they show up on the Love Boat, show up on the Night Gallery.
Yes.
On Columbo, and chain smoking, drunk.
Sure.
I just love that world so much.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, this is a joy. It was good just hanging out with you, man. It's been too long.
This is really fun.
That's what I mean. It's I love doing the show, but it's do I love it so much more in quarantine because I get to see people again?
And I don't think when quarantine is over that will, it's like, let's just Zoom.
Yeah, I know. It's not going to be the explosion of people fucking in the park like some people thought it would be 3 months in. Like that's
Yeah.
everyone's
But
kind
also,
of
in terms of podcasts, I don't think we're all going to be driving to each other's house. It's like,
Nah.
well, walk into my room and we'll do it that way.
sure. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'll still probably want to drive somewhere to be like, hey, hon, can you
Oh,
watch the
I got to
kid
get
for a
out of the
couple
house every
hours?
day. But I wrote a script with Sam Morril in New York, and
Oh, cool.
yeah,
Sam
and,
is so funny, dude.
and we've never met,
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
but we became friends, and we met every day online, and we wrote something, and yeah, what a great guy, and so funny.
So funny. Yeah.
He had a tweet that made me bark laughing. It was just, quote, think I'll treat myself to some pens, quote, thoughts I have in Walgreens.
Yeah. He's so funny. And all that stuff he's been putting out online, I'm just like, oh, I love that you're still going up. Well, anyway, man,
Okay,
great to see you.
great
And
to
thanks
see
for coming on the show, buddy. Appreciate
and
it.
hello to your wife and Rose.
All right. Say hello to the cat and the gang.
I will. Okay.
All right, buddy. Well, that was a blast. Always love hanging out with Dana and his dated references. But such a great dude. And that was so fun. If you want to be a part of the show, want to hear yourself be listened to on the pod, and you got a little problem, something you're dealing with, big or small, call and leave a message. 323-763-0228. Again, that's 323-763-0228. Thanks a lot.
This Might Help with Matt Braunger was created and hosted by me, Matt Braunger. Produced by Outer Circle Media. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcasts.